this pink shirt, we are going to break all the barriers. All the conversations must be unfiltered and to look at what is happening. Of course, I wish you had a very beautiful, Mashujaa Day, of course, after the demise of Baba, who gave us what Raila Jr. said, Anista in October again, for the last time. The Right Honorable Raila Odinga's funeral, 7 days of mourning are not over. We're still mourning, but we'll also look at issues that are affecting. But the big question today, which we want to ask you guys, should Kenyans be giving their flowers when alive, or we wait for someone to pass on and then say he was a CGH? Shouldn't we have given Raila the honors when he was alive to celebrate him alive, have a lot of fun? Please hit our social media pages. Tell us what you think. Are Kenyans hypocrites? Are they and the leadership as such that they give Kenyans their flowers after someone has passed on and not when they are alive? So let's have that discussion on our social spaces. But before we hit you with more music and interesting fun and music, let me tell you something. During Raila Odinga's funeral, a beautiful lady from Zimbabwe appeared. And the lady was none other than Elizabeth Macheka, the wife of Morgan Tsvangirai, the former premier of Zimbabwe. Now, let me tell you a story, guys. It's always good to start with stories. Now, the late Morgan Tsvangirai, when was going to marry this beautiful girl, that was sometime in around 2015 there. Yes. No, 2005 there, I think. 2008. Now, when Tsvangirai got so enchanted with this beautiful lady, and according to reports, then Tsvangirai decided to pay a bride price of 36,000 USD dollars, 10 cows for the lobola for Elizabeth. But remember, according to the Shona of Zimbabwe, November is not a month where you cannot marry. According to their rituals, November is a sacred month and no one is allowed to get married. But Tsvangirai was so smitten that he decided he cannot wait beyond November. Are you hearing that story? So the Abashona believe that if you marry in November, you'll bring bad luck to yourself. And death can occur, by the way. But Tsvangirai Morgan, the Right Honorable Tsvangirai, did not want to hear any of that and decided he will pay fine. So the tribal council or the tribal court, headed by Chief Negomo, called him and fined him 2 cows, 2 sheep, and 10 meters of cotton cloth to allow him to get married in the restricted month of November. And sad to say, 6 years later, Morgan Tsvangirai died from colon cancer. And many people in that area, they believed that he had broken the traditional mourning ceremony or the traditional month of wedding and not wedding. So it's interesting that the African culture is so deep and intertwined in how we do things. So if you see that beautiful lady, just know that she was married in the month of November. In Kikuyu culture, we might have called her red thigh. In other cultures, people say red thighs or something like that. But listen, Morgan Tsvangirai paid bride price of $36,000 for her. 36, that's 4.6 million cash money for this beautiful girl. So she was here during Raila Odinga's funeral. They are fast friends with Ida, and remember Morgan Tsvangirai came for ODM's nomination and all that. They were very close friends with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. So it is interesting how things happen. So the story of Elizabeth Macheka, the former Prime Minister's wife of Zimbabwe is interesting. And Kenyans, you can see the way she is making heads turn. Now, social media is on fire today, this afternoon. And of course, I'll start with the fire is coming from the fact that the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, did not attend Right Honorable Raila Odinga's funeral, and Kenyans, both for him and against him, are lighting the social spaces. And let me just put it into perspective, and what a quote which is being attributed to, of course, the NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua, saying that when the nation gathers to honor one of its greatest sons, absence speaks volumes. True leadership is measured by presence, especially in the moment of grief. That's what we had a conversation which is actually attributed to Madam Martha Karua. But now Kenyans are in the warpath because they're saying that Riggy G should have attended that funeral and should not have excuse. So there's a Twitter trend which is going on, shame on you and shame of what. Yeah, so but the people from Gachagua's corner are saying, you people wanted Gachagua to attend Raila's burial so that he could be booed and insulted. Now that he didn't go, there is no room for insults. You are furious, heal and move on. Now that's what people are saying. But many other people, and of course, Karungo Adangwa is saying that Kenyans do not stop when Gachagua chooses silence. It listens even more closely. His absence from Baba's farewell was not an act of defiance, weakness, or guilt. It was a deliberate show of statesmanship, emotional intelligence, and a deep respect for a moment that was bigger than politics. That's what the Gachagua's corner people are saying. And they're saying that missing that does not come with anything. But other guys are saying that imagine it's only Gachagua who didn't attend this funeral. And afadhali angekuja tu rather than staying away. But the person who is really mad at Gachagua not attending funeral is none other than Ayub Savula, the deputy governor of Kakamega. Ayub Savula has been saying a true Mau Mau follower would have shown up to mourn Shujaa Raila Odinga. Regarding Gachagua's absence is disgrace to the legacy he claims to uphold. Shame on you, Gachagua, roho chafu. You see, many people, it's one of the biggest trending topics because many people are arguing that Gachagua should have just shown up during the funeral and actually during the body viewing. I don't know what you guys think, but Gachagua's corner believes that he made the right decision for not going. And then this brings us to the question I asked at the beginning of this show. Are Kenyans hypocrites? Now you have decorated Raila with Chief of Golden Heart. Yet when he was alive, you called him names. You did not give him any award commensurate his work, his democratic ideals, his policy fights and all that. So what do you guys think? Should Kenyans be mad at Gachagua or mad at themselves? Are Kenyans hypocrites? What is your take? Because for me, it's very interesting the way things are panning out. Because people are saying Gachagua has just lost it for not attending Raila's funeral. And away from Gachagua and failing to attend Raila's funeral, and of course we talked about Elizabeth Macheka, the wife of Morgan Shangirai. Now, today in France, did you know what happened today? Clearly, Sarkozy, the former premier, is going to jail from now. 5 years imprisonment. From the presidency to prison. How things change. Do you think that's possible in Kenya when our leaders who loot our economy, who steal from the funds from hospitals, that they can be arrested and taken to jail like the French have done with Nicolas Sarkozy? Nicolas Sarkozy starts officially 5 years jail sentence today. 5 years from presidency to jail. That's the story of Nicolas Sarkozy, and there's no way out. He has to serve 5 years in jail. But now, if you are thinking that Gachagua made a mistake, look at Sarkozy's ideology and what is happening in that space. Because Sarkozy will have to deal with more than what he can chew. There, he'll be wearing uniform and all those other things. And it will be easy on him because the French jails are not as easy as you might think. It's always going to be dramatic that a former president is now jailed in prison, and it is so difficult for him to get out, and he won't get out unless he serves and completes the 5 year sentence in that prison. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been very interesting to see what's happening. But the question is, are Kenyans hypocrites? Is Gachagua right for not attending Baba's funeral? Why are we decorating Baba, and we could have given him all those things, awards when he was alive? Let me just say that it's very interesting the way people look at how people relate. And today I wanted to talk about people who are dating partners who are cheaters. Cheaters. Do you stick with your cheating partner, or do you say it does not matter, or do you kick out? How do you kick out a cheating partner? Are you in that situation where you are suspecting someone you are with is cheating on you and you cannot put a finger on it? This person probably is a man or a woman. Would let us know, because I know one of the biggest problems in the city of Nairobi ni kugongewa. Nani anakugongea? Who is this one gongeing you? And if it's true, I saw a message on my Instagram today when a guy was on a plane and saying, this time around naenda kuwagongea nje ya town. So is it slang really the way to go? Because many people wanagongewa, and we say kugongewa is constant. How do you deal with cheating partners? What is the take? Do you stick? How do you, and if you discover, do you leave immediately, or do you also say it is what it is? You continue, and you also gongea someone? Let us know, because cheating is rife in Nairobi. I remember the song Nairobi, yule nakupea ananiletea wanakula fea. So it's very interesting to find out what you think about this. And of course, we said earlier on that number one, that the French president, of course, is former French president is going to jail today. Leo Gioni, 5 years imprisonment. 5 good years. Miaka tano. But also, away from the presidential matters and people honoring Raila and others being hypocrites about it, and Gachagua facing the music on the socials, what do you think about how the whole of this Raila funeral was organized? Do you think it was well organized? Because remember, there are 3 young men who were shot dead, and the autopsy report has just revealed that they suffered, or like either the boy suffered the bullet wound from the head, shot straight from the head, the other one from the chest, and the other one also from the shoulder. So it seems that the corpse did not use any other ammunition but live ammunition, which is totally wrong. So we lost 3 young men who were really willing to go and send Baba off in a good environment. But of course, excessive force of our security forces cut short their short life, and it's not one of the best things we would like to know. Bishop Marvin Winans, the brother to, of course, Sissy Winans, the celebrated singer from the United States, is on the spot because of a storm when he was confronting a church member for offering $1,200 during a service in Detroit Perfection Church. Now, listen, this is what happened. The good bishop or the good pastor had asked congregants to bring $1,200 for as a donation, as a tithe for the church. And now there's a lady, a member of the church, known as Roberta McQueen, who came and in line in faith and said that she was sowing a seed, and her seed was not the requested $1,200, but she had only $1,000 plus another $234, and she put them in two different envelopes and said, Bishop, I'm coming to sow my seed, but I'm coming with 1,000 and 234 separate in two different white envelopes. Now, shock on you. The bishop was not amused. Bishop Winans was not amused. And he started to correct her immediately, saying that, I told you to bring $1,200. You are not listening to what I'm saying. I said I said it 1,001 times. And the woman, seemingly caught off guard, reassured the bishop that next time she will bring the remaining $800. But the bishop did not want to hear any of that. He said, but I did not ask you to bring that. I told you to bring 1,200. So now this exchange was captured in social media, and people have weighed in. The churches and other people are saying that it is totally wrong for a bishop to break someone's heart, because the Bible says you give in faith. You do not have to rebuke someone for giving less amount or more amount than you've asked for. This business of kupanda mbegu by these prosperity churches is clearly getting out of hand. And you could hear that what people are saying, and one of the members of the church is saying that this is what makes people stop going to church. And other people are saying this is what makes people get brainwashed. And it is the saddest thing that Marvin Winans, a very well-known evangelist, a guy who has been known to be a true gospel preacher, to rebuke someone. Yet the Bible teaches us that if you give in faith, privately. You don't even need how to shout. But the bishops nowadays, they do not give a damn on how you do. They'll shout at you. They will tell you, that's what I agreed with you to give. Now are you giving less money that I requested? How is the church going to get out of such mess that bishops do not understand that giving is not meant to be policed? And why are we policing people who are coming to church to give? Why are we calling them names? Why are we rebuking them? Is that happening in your church? Tell us, what crazy things have you seen in your church that you think should be stopped? And what do you think the organization that runs the churches should know, that we do not have people going under depression because they're being embarrassed, they're being shocked in front of every congregants when they give what they have. Away from Bishop Marvin of Perfecting Church in United States, Detroit. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that the KCSE examination is on the cards. Today is the first day. Let me first of all wish every student who is going out there to sit this year's KCSE that you may be passed with flying colors. And of course, we pray for you that you make your parents and us proud as you sit on your exams this year. And may you find grace in the eyes of the Lord. So away from that, there's a school. Remember that school in Letien where kids burnt the school? Now, they were told to come with 49,000 shillings, and that has brought a lot of issue because parents cannot afford to pay that 49,000 shillings for the havoc their kids cost. So I think they need to have a sit down with the school and the government to agree what can parents chip in to rebuild the burnt classrooms, the laboratories and that. But for the students, the 49,000 shillings is such a steep figure for a villager and Letain to raise to take the kids back to school. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. It seems that things are happening in this country, some of them very sad. But ladies and gentlemen, did you know that a Kenyan woman, and these are, if you are dating a Kenyan woman, they are secret lovers, because today we are playing love songs. They are secret stress relievers Kenyan women keep. So if you are doubting, this is what you need to check out for. Number one, most Kenyan men are quite not aware of what their girlfriends are doing. But now, let me give you 10 points which would be, there's a secret lover, the undercover flame, distinguished in her book as a friend. If you grow suspicious and the chemistry of late-up meetups, she will swiftly dismiss you as insecure. When you hear your chick is telling you you're insecure, oh, he's just a friend, if you interrogate, you'll find that it's deeper than what you think. Number two, the protective brother. These other boys who say, she calls her sis, and the guy calls her sis, and she calls her bro, and all this nonsense. And then you realize the guy, when you are getting closer to her, said, huyu mtu anakaa gangster. This is very coded way. So beware of sister, brother, which does not make sense. Then there's this one we call the stress reliever. The one who, when there's a chaotic or drama at home, she calls him and effortlessly comes, and they are there chilling and all that, and you think they're just friends. My friend, check out. And then there's a gossip partner. Number 5, beware of a gossip partner. If your girlfriend has that man, they're saying, oh, they're what? Chunga sana, there might be something going down. And then there's a quote, the workmate in quotes. The one he says, he calls at odd hours, oh, my colleague, I'm meeting my colleague, my friend, beware. Some colleagues are not colleagues. There must be something. He's not just a colleague, he's more than a colleague. And then there's my advisor. When she tells you, this is my advisor, or my investment planner, or the charmer person, beware. This person is planning, Mr. Planner is planning beyond the advice. And then there's the ex who never quite leaves, number 8. If you have a girlfriend who has an ex who has never left, and they broke up, but there's emotional support all the time, just know that unagongewa hapo. And then number 9, the prayer partner. Beware of some prayer partners. That one we will not discuss. And 10, the technician, the person who fixes her phone, installs her apps, updates her Wi-Fi, all that. My friend, those 10 people are very dangerous in a relationship. Beware of all those 10 people. So I've said, if you're dating and you know that the girl tells you that these men are very close to her, the secret lover, number 1, the protective brother, number 2, the savior of M-Pesa dude, the stress reliever, the gossip partner, the workmate, in quotes, the Mr. Advisor, the ex that never left, and the prayer partner, and the technician, beware unagongewa gongi. So do not agree to these things. But there are people who also are not being very cool, and they're not being very cool because if you look at Raila Jr.'s interview has said before that one of the reasons why he has an issue with the way he looks is because is a genetical condition from the mother's side. But there are people on social media who are mocking that look, and I find it totally crass that a human being can go and mock one another because of genetic composition. Why are Kenyans being so insensitive? Why can't we just allow people to be? Why can't you just focus on the positives of our lives? Why are people so hell-bent on looking at the negative side of everything, especially things which any individual has no power over? You know, I find it totally stupid. And I say stupid because you cannot mock someone because of how they look. You cannot say, why do you look like this? It is how, and especially when it's a condition which you've inherited from your genes and you have no say. So when you see people who are pigmentation challenged, it's not because they applied to be like that. It is God's creation, and we have to accept our challenges, the way we sit, the way we live together, without looking down upon each other. And I find it totally wrong that many people do not see this as one of the issues in life. If I ever meet you and you look down upon anyone who has a physical or mental condition, then I'll think that you've lost it completely. You need help, you need to go to hospital, you need to be checked. And those people who are trying to mock one another because of how they look, because of their condition or their genetic composition, you must just grow up. You must grow a pair, maybe. And put it in good French. Please grow a pair. And I don't know where you'll grow that pair from. So, of course, I said today earlier on that this gentleman called Sarkozy, Nicolas Sarkozy, is starting his 5 years jail sentence. Jamaa kameingia ndani from today. From today, Nicolas Sarkozy is a guest of the state. From president to the guest of the state, how things change. If someone told him when he was the president of France that he will ever end up in prison and jailed for 5 years, I think he would have laughed it off. But because of the strong rule of law and justice in those countries, you cannot be stealing the people's money or anything, or get it wrong and you walk scot-free. We should bring it to this country. We should bring it to this country. All those corrupt governors and leaders should be jailed so that people can style up, so that we can honor justice, equity, and all that.